Good evening. Years ago, women were given specific roles that they could perform in society. Pursuing a career was not one of them. With time, women started breaking barriers and aiming high, but they could only take up certain careers, and again, engineering was not one of them. The good news is, ladies and gentlemen, things have now changed. Join me as I talk to one lady doing honors for herself next on Ubuntu channel. Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Ubuntu Lifestyle. This week, we dedicate this program to women making headways in careers seen as a men's world. The topic for tonight is changing the narrative, and my guest is Karen Tembo. Karen, good evening and welcome to Ubuntu channel.
Good evening. Hi, how are you?
I'm all right. And thank you so much for having found time to join me on this week's program where we are looking at changing the narrative. Karen, I know it's the first time that you are on Ubuntu channel, and we thank you so much for having found the time to join us this evening.
No, it's my pleasure, really. Thank you, Lawrence, for having me.
Awesome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember you can join in the discussion by commenting on whatever social media platform that you're watching us from. And remember, please keep the comments sober and as short as possible so that we can get to go through the comments right here on this program with Karen ready to respond to your questions and probably clarify one or two things that she can. Karen, I think we start from the beginning. Um, who exactly is Karen?
That's a very that's a huge question. I don't even know where to start. I don't know how to answer that question. Who is Karen? I think if I had to pick two words, it would be extremely hardworking and driven. But I don't know what else you want to know. I don't know if you want to know how old I am
I,
or
I think on behalf of the viewers, we are trying to get to know what Karen exactly does. In other words, what does Karen do? So
okay.
that we can start from there. We'll be there from there.
Okay, so I'm an environmental engineer by profession. I'm also the CEO and founder of a startup called ZX Vendors.
Interesting. Now, um, you've mentioned you're an environmental engineer, and obviously, a lot of young ladies out there, even those from the past, the veterans, have always shunned down from anything that has to do with engineering on the name. And this is the reason why we have you this week, Karen, so that you can come and tell us your journey through this whole engineering thing of yours. And we'll start from the beginning. What has been your dream growing up? What did you want to become?
So initially, I didn't want to be an engineer. I wanted to be a doctor. And when it got to the point where I had to pick a course for my scholarship, medicine wasn't an option because I didn't study A levels or anything like that. So I opted for the next thing that I felt could make an impact. And that was environmental engineering because you do impact a lot of what goes on in the world, and you make a difference. So I really wanted to pick a career that I could make a difference. I didn't want to sit on a desk for 24 hours doing paperwork. I wanted to be out there making my name known. So that's why I opted for engineering. It just sounded very challenging, and I was up for the challenge.
And when you talk of making a difference in your career, what exactly were you looking at? What did you want to do? What did you want to achieve?
I didn't really know exactly what making a difference meant. I just knew that I had to be my best self. I had to put 110% forward. Like, I didn't want to be average. I didn't want to be basic. I didn't want to have a basic life. I wanted
Mhm.
more, 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 more. I think that's, and also the thing that really like helped me was I love. It sounds very cliche, but I actually like making a difference in people's lives. Like, that's one of the reasons why, like I said, I really wanted to study medicine, but I really enjoy the aspect of like making a difference in someone's life, even if it's in a small way. So I think that's what really motivated me.
Interesting. Now, that time that you decided to say, okay, since I can't do medicine, I'll go and do engineering. I'll be an environmental engineer.
Yeah.
What was the reaction from people that were around you?
Um. So initially, I actually didn't have a very bad reaction. I think most of my reactions for like medicine and engineering background for women came from like high school. But when it came to like when I had to make a decision, I have a very supportive family. So yeah, they were like, engineering. Will you be managing going in the field? But I was like, yeah, my sister is an engineer, so it was like, oh, look at her. What does she do? So it was very easy for me to transition. My family didn't oppose, but I think growing up, that's where I had an issue with like careers because engineering was something that I almost never heard about from women.
Exactly, exactly. Now, uh, going to university. Obviously, if I'm not mistaken, you didn't study from within the country, right?
No, I studied in Russia.
Awesome. Going into Russia, I think Russia possesses a lot of challenges. I think a lot of people that I've come across who have studied in Russia will talk about a lot of challenges that that they come across when out there. But I'm going to try by all means to stick to this exact topic that we are looking at,
Hmm.
and I'm going to ask you, going into university in Russia, how many were you in class, and particularly, how many ladies were you?
Okay, so we were not a lot of ladies as well in Russia. So have a couple of friends that also would tell me they were the only girls in their class, just her herself. So even in Russia, it wasn't like a predominant course for women. Most women opted for other courses that were shorter, simpler, didn't take too much of their time. So yeah, that was my experience.
Going through this whole experience and up to the time you graduated, like, give me give me an idea of how it was performance wise, obviously academically, competing with most of the class being
Oh,
uh,
mhm.
loaded with gents.
I am a competitor by nature.
Hmm.
Like I said, I like to win. So for me, I was always on the top of my class. I made that a point to say, I don't care the color of your skin, I don't care your gender. I'm going to beat you at what you do because I just want to be the best in everything that I do. So for me, yes, it was really hard because there was racism involved, and there were times where my classmates wouldn't help me with schoolwork. But there's so much, there's so many resources now. Like, you really can't be lazy with school because you have the internet. You have
Yeah,
so
yeah,
many. If someone's not helping you, you Google it, you figure it out.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
YouTube and so many tutorials on so many different things, and that's how I learned. Like, I taught myself a lot of things because sometimes even my teachers weren't very cooperative. So that's how I went through university. Was I figured it out. Like, I didn't really depend too much on my peers.
We can also bring in the issue of racism. I think from the stories that I've heard is that it's
Hmm.
actually very much a problem and a challenge back in Russia specifically. How did you manage to go through all these things?
I won't lie, it was really hard, especially the last years of my university life. I got depressed. I won't lie, but you know, it's very hard to be hated for the color of your skin. You can't
Yeah,
change
yeah.
that. You can't
And
wake
change
up
it.
and become white. So it was very
Mhm.
hard to accept that people hated me or didn't like me or didn't want to sit next to me because of something that I could not change. But I really held on to the hope that I'm going home. I was like, oh, how many months left? So that was what pushed me through it. I won't even lie and say, no, I looked at the bigger picture. It was not nice for me. It wasn't a pleasant experience. It brought about a lot of insecurities, and I just wanted to come home. Like I wanted to be in my country.
What really kept you going in having faced all these things? Like, there are a lot of challenges that you're going through, but you kept on going and going. By the way, I have a friend who gave up in Russia. And
Mm,
this is why I'm asking and emphasizing on this. I have a friend who gave up in Russia and told me, look, it's not like I cannot learn here. And he came and did his school here at UNZA, having
mm-hmm.
left everything in Russia. So that's why I'm really putting some emphasis on this. What kept you going?
Um, I had a family. I had a family that I couldn't let down. I was on a scholarship. I'm not a quitter. Like no matter how hard it gets, I'm seeing this through. I'm getting my degree. If someone wants to come and fight me every day for it, let's fight. But I was going home with my degree. That I knew. I was going home, but with my degree. So failure was never an option for me. I think it's also mindset. Yes, you might go through a lot of tough things, but if you set your mind to say, I have to achieve this goal, you're going to achieve it. No one can stop you. So I really put that in my mind. It was tough, yes, yes, whatever. But I made sure to wake up every day, go to school. Even if I had to cry on my way or back, I didn't care. I was going to get my degree. So I had made up
Does
my
that
mind.
confirm? Does that confirm there was some parts where you had to cry because of
Oh,
things
of
that you?
course. I think I was crying almost every day. I was severely
Uh-huh.
depressed, but I was going to get my degree, and I set some small goals for myself. So I was like, okay, what do I want apart from my degree? And that kept me going. Like I did something for me, that was completely not related to my family, other people, just for me, and that helped me push.
Awesome. For those who are just joining us, this is Ubuntu Lifestyle. As usual, on Monday, we come and bring you very diverse topics. And this week, we are actually being graced by the presence of Karen Tembo, who is an environmental engineer, trying to share with us a story up to where she is right now. Remember, we are still taking in your comments. Leave a comment in the comment section of whatever social media platform you're watching us from, and remember, this broadcast is actually live, and you are watching us live from wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much. Now, let's look at this. University done, you're back in the country, and then time now to look for employment or something like that. Have you ever come across a situation where an employer actually categorically states that they do not wish to employ a female engineer?
um no, I don't want to lie. I know that some women have a lot of those issues. And it hasn't been an issue of female engineers from like people I've been around. It's been an issue of I don't want to employ women. And I kind of felt that with all of my small jobs. It was, oh, she'll get pregnant tomorrow. Oh, she women always going sick. They don't come in too many days. It's like we don't really get value for our money when you employ a woman because they don't put in the same effort as a man. They will have kids, then they have to leave because the kid is sick or they are sick. There's always an excuse. So I have heard of that narrative. Um, Personally, I think the first week for me, like when I'm working wherever, I make that a case saying that would not be an issue for me. Yeah.
Interesting.
Are you?
Now,
Oh, okay.
I am actually asking this, like you said. Probably you've heard these stories,
Mhm.
these narratives coming up here and there, and things like that.
Mhm.
But what exactly do you think goes on in the minds of these employers when they do that?
It's very simple. Like I said, women normally have a lot to take care of in a household. The children, the food, the time, the kids, like they take care of the household. They have a lot on their plate. So yes, there will be times when I have to go, my child is sick,
Yeah, yeah.
or I can't come in. I'm pregnant. I have to rest. So like,
I
you can go ahead.
Go
Sorry.
on, go on.
No, I'm done
Okay,
actually.
I have a friend. I think she once told me her boss has written an email to her and said, "Do not get pregnant in the next 2 years because it's very critical." Real life. I'm not making this up. This is true
No,
story.
I actually I've heard that
She
too.
tells me, she tells me, look, I'm married, and you find that there is pressure at home. The husband is saying, "I want a child."
Yeah.
Like how does a woman cope with such?
So I've actually experienced that as well, where it's like, okay, you're in your first years, it's very critical, don't get pregnant. I'm not married. I probably will be soon, but I think the one thing that I would say that women need to figure out is with their partner. Like you need to make it clear to say, I'm career driven. I want at least 3 years to focus on my career. And if you're okay with that, you're okay with that. I think the mistake a lot of women make is they don't really put themselves first. They put the marriage first, they put the man first. But it has to be equal. Yeah, equal partners. So you talk, you say, look, me, I don't want kids right now. I want to focus on this and that. And you take it up from there. But sometimes you find yourself in a situation where you're married to someone and they want children, like you said, and you want to focus on your career. That one, I honestly don't know how people navigate that, because that's very difficult, because you have to either choose your career or making your partner happy.
Now, don't you think all these things are coming in because of the traditions that we have? Believe you me, from things I've seen, women seem to be, before marriage, that is, women seem to be taught, and their teachings are more focused on how to make a man happy,
Yeah.
forgetting about their own happiness. Do we need also to rearrange something in the traditions and the teachings that we give before marriage?
Of course, of course, of course, of course. If I ask you right now, it's even the small things like, I don't want to go too much off topic, but
Yeah.
like when a person cheats, for example, women are expected to forgive very easily, because that's what we're taught. We're taught, it's a guy, it's a man. That's what they do. So even the way we are wired with certain things, it's,
Uh-huh.
oh, it's my husband. If I don't give him a child, he'll find someone. He'll find a kid somewhere else. If I don't do this, he'll leave me. How many men are there? We're taught these things over and over and over again. Even now, that's what we're taught. So it's not going to change, unfortunately. But it changes with the women. The women have to make their own voice. They can't
True.
change culture, but they can change their life. They can say, no, for me, mom, for me, grandma, no, I want different.
Interesting. Now, let's now get back on topic. I think
Okay.
let's now get back
You
on
asked,
topic.
I answered.
Yeah, I know. I led you there. Um, then you get a job. We are building up. We've talked
Hmm.
about going before school. We've talked about school. We've talked about uh, one or two things before getting a job, and finally you get a job. And probably you have colleagues. Most of them should be male, right?
Yes, about 90% of my colleagues are 95.
So,
Yeah.
so how helpful are them? Are they towards you when you have a challenge to execute your duties, and probably they know what you're supposed to do? Are these guys supportive? Don't snitch on
Um,
them. Remember.
might lose my job tomorrow. Um, so I'm trying to pick the right words. Look, there's different types of people, and there's good people that will want to teach you, I haven't been in the
Yeah.
sector that I'm working in for long, so I have a lot to learn. And there's people that come to me and they're like, "Here, this is how you do this, how you do that." But then there's a lot of people also that are very insecure with their positions and threatened,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I don't understand personally because, you know, why would you be threatened by little old me? But um that's that's it's been, every day is different. Every day is different. No,
Yeah.
nothing is the same. Some days are really hard, some days are okay. But I think overall there's more good than bad. Like, people are willing to teach and mentor. Yeah, I think
Uh,
that's what
I
I
think
guess.
the narrative that I found with these people who've been, especially those who have more experience than you,
Yeah.
most of them, I think the challenge that I see is that most of them do not have that much qualifications. The only
Mm,
thing that speaks for them is the experience. Now they know you have
that's
the
true.
qualification, and you do not have the experience, and then uh, they seem to try to limit your experience so that you don't match up to them. Now,
Hmm.
how do you really get that knowledge from them? If you can see that this person knows what you should do, you do not have the idea, but you want to get that information, that help from them. What tactics do you use to extort
So,
that
yeah,
information?
that's actually something that I've been dealing with a lot. And for me, I try to be kind. It's an issue of dealing with ego. So you have to be very careful with ego. You don't want to seem like you're too pompous, like everything.
Yeah, yeah,
You want to just come and humble yourself and say, "Look, I'm asking for help." They might not give you the first time. You ask again and again and again because you want to learn. And then
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
very difficult, go to the next person who probably knows more than they do. So
Mhm.
there's always someone who's willing to teach you. You just have to also, like, kill all your pride, because pride doesn't work in these situations where you're literally begging for knowledge from people that don't want to give it to you because they are scared of your progression. So for me, I really try to, like, kill my pride. It's not always easy, but
Mhm.
sometimes I go to the other person who might give me answers right away, and it also works.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at a life coach here. She's giving you some hints, but you did
No,
not
that's
expect.
good.
But hey, Karen is here to give them to you live and direct on the Ubuntu channel just as we go. Karen,
Yeah.
I'm loving the points that you're bringing out. Actually, these are things that I probably have seen as well in my growing up career wise as well.
Yeah.
And I think I agree with you to some extent that there's always one person. I think probably the first two times I did internships, uh, there was completely no one willing to give information that easy. If they had to give you information, there was one man in particular who would tell me, if I'm going to teach you this, you are buying me lunch. Remember, you are on internships which you're
Mhm.
not getting paid for. And he's on a
Yeah.
salary. And
Yeah.
he's telling you you're going to buy lunch for me. But you swallow it. Oh, okay. How much do I have? You check your pockets and then you be like, okay. And you do what you can. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, you get what you want and you learn, you grow. End of
Yeah.
story. That is what matters. But overall, in a nutshell, we see a lot of ladies, women, young girls. Actually, my daughter inclusive. I was telling my daughter that she should try to be an engineer, and she told me that is for men, not for me. That was her
Really.
response. And I thought to myself, well, I think there is a lot that needs to be done. But the question is, what needs to be done?
I think it's a lot of, like, talking to these young girls, and, like, it starts at a young age. Like I said, in high school, this was not the dream. Like, no one really talked about these careers. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really talking to the young girls and really putting it in their mind, say this is an option. This is an option. You can get it. It can be yours. It's not for men. In fact, you probably do it way better than all the men combined. This is an option for you. Think about it critically. So I think, like, I really love, not to get political, but there are a lot of good things that are happening in our government that are empowering women to, you know, educate even the younger generations to take that step, towards other fields that are not very prominent for women.
Okay. Going over the looking at the results, especially from last year,
Hmm.
uh, grade 7 results, grade 9 results, you realize that actually the girls were doing better than the guys.
Yeah,
The top performers were mostly girls. I think
yeah,
that should tell us something. There is something that is happening.
yeah.
We have to accept. But going upwards, still more, very few girls are willing to take up some of these jobs. Engineering, one of them. Should we look up to government to try and devise some certain probably uh, uh, tactics or some methods or whatever it is to come to try and encourage these girls, or maybe come up with policies starting from school. I don't even know what policy that we're looking, but I don't know what do you think probably the government itself should do to
Look,
encourage more girls in this.
as much as government can do whatever they need to do, it's also about your surrounding. Most girls are exposed to, like, just marriage being the goal in life. Marriage, ka job fake, like, you get a job so that you can marry, then you have a husband that pays for everything. That's how most women think. So it's your surrounding. Like, if we change a bit of how we talk to each other, even as fellow women, we encourage each other, say, "Why? You can actually work. You don't need this and that. Look for change your career. You have time. You're young." But we don't encourage ourselves for the right things. The pressure society gives us is marriage. So a lot of women
Mhm.
don't aspire for greatness. They aspire to be wives, and that's
Yeah,
where
yeah.
the problem is. So you can give them policies, you can give them whatever, but when they're 24, 25, she's thinking, I want to be married. Or when she's like 21, she's thinking 4 years, 5 years. Nah, let me do a course fast, start when I'm 23. I'm married, chap. Like, it's more, it's also a social problem. It's not just government. Government can't help social problems.
In general, there is a narrative that looks at women as, well, people who can't help each other, people who always
Yeah.
look to bring each other down. To what extent are some of these things to do with women themselves, have to do with some of these challenges we have when it comes to women pursuing certain careers and all that?
It's very true. Like, I think it's a power struggle. When there's not a lot of people at the top, everyone, you want to be the only one there. You want to be the only female manager or whatever. Then you have like a girl that's coming up hot. You're like, no, 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 no. Put this girl down. I must be the only one on top. So it's a power struggle. And women, most of the time, we're the worst supporters. We don't support each other. We say a lot of things, but in actual sense, we really don't. um and I don't know what's going to change that. I honestly don't know, but that's true. That narrative is very, very true. Fellow women don't like seeing other women
Uh,
succeed. They want to be the only ones.
Let me ask my producer to get some comments ready. We go through a
Sure,
few
sure,
comments
sure,
here and there, but
sure.
as he's preparing the comments, let me just bring this to your attention. I think if probably a week or two ago, there
Mhm.
was an issue in court where one former employee sued her former manager, who was also a lady, and
Mhm.
in the issues that they seemed to be having, the manager told this employee or this former employee to say, "This is the reason why I do not like to work with women." Those are words that were coming from a woman, and I think
Yeah.
uh, it caught me kind of by surprise to think, why would a woman say this to a fellow woman? Should To what extent should we go with some of these things?
Look,
As
it's
in,
character.
how much should we tolerate?
It's character. It's character. Like I power struggle. It's character. It's the people that we put in power. Maybe we need to pay really close attention to that, as even organizations, companies, individuals. The people that you put in power are very vital for the survival of women empowerment. If you put a woman that is power hungry and is not willing to accept that there might be someone better than her, then you always have that narrative. So it's a
Mhm.
thing where organizations need to really be selective with the women they put in power, just as much as the men they put in power, because if you have a wrong person in power, they can damage a lot of good that can come from certain individuals.
Okay. Thank you so much for everybody sending in some comments, but let's get to read a few. I think Mubanga
Okay.
Felicia says, "Let's go." Yeah, let's go, Mubanga. We're here. Last Mayumbula is asking, "Hi, Karen. What are some of the key environmental concerns that you feel needs to be looked at in Zambia? What needs to be done?" Thank you so much,
So,
Last, for that one.
oh, okay.
Let's just a minute. Let me just pick one more. Let me just pick one more before we can get to respond. Okay, Mubanga is saying he's watching from England. Thank you so much, Mubanga. Thank you. And uh, bring in. I want one more comment. I want one more comment. Interesting. Thanks, Lawrence. Okay, thank you so much, Mercy. I much appreciated. Chiponta is asking, have you had to sacrifice relationships over career? What are some of the things that you've had to forego for the sake of your career? So we have those. I think there are two questions per se that begs for answers. Which one are you going to handle first?
I'll handle the environmental concerns. Okay.
Okay.
Environmental concerns, I think there's not a lot of recycling processes in Zambia. Like, you know how in a lot of European countries you can have paper, plastic, and other materials. We don't have that. Also, there's not a lot of innovative solutions. Like, there's a lot of ways we can use technology to just speed up a lot of the environmental issues that we're having. But it's like we are stuck in the old ways of paper, of going manually. A lot of machinery could work, especially even if we talk about those drainages that have a lot of waste.
Mhm.
Literally, there are machines that could reduce that to zero, to clean up all those drainages every single day without manually having people to do it every day. Second question, my career relationships.
Question is,
I
go
think I
ahead. If you
remembered.
remember the question, go ahead.
Yeah. Um, Look, I've had times where, yes, I've dated people that are not, let me not say too much, but it's a bit challenging sometimes to be the one who's always over ambitious, like always wanting more. Like sometimes your partner is like, isn't this enough? Like, can we just chill, relax? We're okay right here, but I'm always wanting more. So I think I've had a bit of some issues most of the time where I'm the one who's over ambitious. And I don't know what the other part of the question was. I've forgotten.
So the other part of the question was, what are some of the things that you've had to forego for the sake of your career?
Um, I think family, the most sad one is I've lost a lot of time with my family because of where I am, where I'm living, and I've yeah, quality time with my family. I think that's the most important one I've lost out on.
Okay. Let me take you a little bit technical into your program.
Ah.
No, 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 no. Don't worry, don't worry. I know why you're doing that. Don't worry. um,
Okay.
I want to look at first and foremost the future of environmental engineering in Zambia. I think probably we have quite a number of environmental engineers in Zambia. Uh, we have quite uh, uh, quite a number of those aspiring to do it, or some quite a number of people who are actually uh, UNZA, CBU doing the same program and things like that, and others obviously abroad. What are the career prospects when you study environmental engineering? What doors have you opened once you complete? So that somebody who maybe aspires to do this should have an idea.
The career aspirations are limitless. It's a beautiful course. You could work in a factory. You could work as a civil engineer. You could work with construction. It's really an exciting career to choose because you're not limited, and that's something that I really like because I'm interested to see where my career goes. I don't want to be limited to just one part. So there's so many aspects you can look at it from, and there's so many opportunities for environmental engineers right now. A lot towards the fact that the world is trying to go green, and they're trying to really have these powerful, sustainable solutions for impacts onto the environment. So there's a lot of things going on in that aspect. It's exciting. Like there's a lot of opportunities. You could work in a lot of different sectors. If you want to be at the desk 24/7, you can get a a job that deals with compliance and standards where you're just looking over those standards every day. If you want to be in the field every day, you can actually have experience working on a wastewater treatment plant.
But, yeah.
Yeah. So you can also work there if you
Mhm.
want. Or you can work in a mine. Or it's very diverse. Like so anyone who's thinking of doing it, I would really recommend. Not just because it's my profession, but yeah.
Um, I really can't end this without talking about you being a CEO. Tell us about your
Okay.
organization. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. So ZX Vendors is an e-commerce platform, and funny enough, we our goal is to empower women businesses to leverage technology. So you know how
Okay.
Amazon works. We're
Yeah, yeah.
kind of really similar, but we deal with local vendors, and we deal with vendors that you normally would not even know are there. Like they might even be next door, but you don't know they sell the things that you want. So just bridging that gap in technology, especially for these businesses that can expand and grow but don't know how.
So, for someone who wants to be a vendor on your platform, how do they do that?
It's very simple. You just go to the website, www.zxvendors.com. You scroll down all the way, and then you see a become a vendor. Click on it, and we help our ladies with all men. If you have a business as a man, we also on board. But
We are used this time around. Everything deals with late around. We are
no, no,
used.
no, 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 no,
We
no.
don't even
Tell a
complain
friend to
anymore.
tell a friend it's free. It's absolutely free. So we onboard these businesses, um, and we help them with every step. We even create logos for some of them. We create banners. So we're very like in the process to make sure that it's very easy.
Okay, awesome. Now, I think I'll ask my producer to just make sure that you are on a larger screen because I want you to look into that camera,
Oh,
talk to one or two people, uh,
okay,
especially the young girls, the young boys. I think I'll also ask my daughter to watch this.
okay.
Talk to them. Encourage someone to just to just take up some of these roles, these careers that everybody's. Just talk to someone. I think you are now big enough. I think you can go ahead.
No, 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 no. I'll just say that I know it's very you hear this a lot, the sky is the limit, the sky is the limit, but it truly is. You have to believe in yourself and you can't wait for anyone to change your life. Not everyone is born in the best situations, but that situation it won't define you for the rest of your life. It doesn't make your story. It's just a small part that you tell people like, "Oh, yes, I had a tough upbringing, but look at me now." So pick what challenges you. Don't be comfortable. Don't do the easy stuff. Do the hard stuff. The hard stuff is so worth it. Like you'll be so proud of yourself. In a few years you look at yourself and you'll be like, "Wow, I did that." Because you went the other route. So yeah, pick the hard
Mhm.
stuff, challenge yourself. And I think that's what I would like to encourage young people is work hard, don't wait for mom and dad or whoever to give you whatever. You get it for yourself and yeah, challenge yourself. I think that's
I, I think throughout this day, I've been seeing I've been seeing something on Facebook where people are saying, "I come from a poor background, ends at 30. The
yes.
rest of it, you are the background."
Yes, exactly. You can even make it age
It's
at
what I've been seeing.
18. It's 18 when you're legal enough to work. Then it ends.
All right. Just any closing remarks that you have? Probably we are running out of time.
No, just please log on to ZX vendors, and we're really trying to do something great here. It's not about money, it's not about anything, just connecting people. And yeah, I think that's all from me.
Okay, there you have it. We so much appreciate your participation. Thank you so much for all the comments that have come through. Thank you so much for each and every one of you watching us on Ubuntu channel. We really appreciate the fact that you were with us. Namunga, thank you so much for that. Francisca, thank you so much for being with us. And everybody else who has commented on various platforms. Unfortunately, I think I've just seen some comments from Twitter. We are not able to have comments from Twitter. I think due to a technicality and something like that. But all the same, thank you so much for the comments. This has been Ubuntu Lifestyle. We'll come again on Monday next week with another guest, obviously another lady doing something different from all the ladies out there, just like Karen did. Thank you so much, Karen, for having found time to be with us. We really appreciate this time that we had, short as it might look, but I think you have really connected with someone out there. You have helped someone make a career choice. You've helped someone think of doing something strange or something not really, let me not say strange, something different from what every other lady is thinking of doing. This is Ubuntu, and thank you so much for being on the Ubuntu channel. Keep on following us, keep on checking on us every day. At 20 hours, we have a program coming live to you from this particular platform, wherever you're watching us from. This has been Lawrence Mulungu. On behalf of Karen and CJ on the controls, it's good night.
Good night. Thank you.